Hi, I'm Steve Rose. I've been a chef for 38 years, was the owner of the greenest restaurant in the entire San Francisco Bay Area, and now I'm a farmer here at Rose Ranch. We do things green around here. What sets me apart is that green is not just a buzzword like a lot of people use. Green is an operative word, and it really is easy to do. I'm going to share with you my secrets on how to do this at home. We're going to have fun, and living green, living truly green, is really a blast. I believe that people want to learn how to live this way, they just don't know how to go about it. And that's the whole purpose of the show, is to teach people how to do it. I'm going to show you the way, show you the pathway to green living. Welcome to the Organic Rose. Hi, I'm Chef Steve Rose. Welcome to another episode of the Organic Rose. We're going to be working with Lodge cookware today, and we're also going to be doing these amazing short ribs. This is actually a Colby cut, which is, you can see how almost paper thin they are, but they cook very nicely, they braise nicely. Braising is a cooking technique that's been around for centuries. We're going to go ahead and braise these short ribs in this Lodge Dutch oven. And you see the lid has these bumps in it. So what happens is whatever product you're cooking in the pot creates steam naturally. The lid seats down really well so the steam stays within the vessel. So the steam comes up and hits these little bumps and then goes back into the pot. So you're not losing any of the minerality and everything just stays really tender and juicy. You can braise inside, outside. I braise them in my wood burning fireplace sometimes. So let's go ahead and put some oil in here. I use grapeseed oil because that has a very high smoking point. We'll put the lid on that. So I've got some garlic here, and I've got some red onion. And we're not going to be really fancy with our cuts. There's some orange California Wonder peppers. Let's go ahead and get this out. We'll take the ribs out. There we go. And here's a yellow one. All right. Okay, I think we'll just add. So more of a rustic cut. Like I say, nothing fancy. Braising really should be more of a rustic style. This is going to be a great dish when it's pouring rain outside, or it's snowing, or it's just plain cold out. This is one of my favorite dishes to prepare when we're out at the beach. And it's cold and it's foggy and it's wet and it's kind of spooky, and have this and a nice bottle of wine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide these over to one side, dividing the pot in two. So they're imparting a little bit of flavor, and then I will go ahead and start braising the meat, or I'm not sorry, braising, but searing it. Turn the heat up. I can already smell it. Okay. And the garlic, we're just going to go ahead and split the garlic. This is a really easy dish. But cuts like the short ribs, a chuck roast, a bone-in chuck roast. Bone-in products for me are always better and offer more flavor than bone-out. Some garlic in there. Put the rest of the peppers in. You know what, I'm just going to use the tongs for later. My hands are clean. Put these in here. So by braising this meat, you can see all the nice marbling in these cuts. By braising it, all the fat's going to break down. Okay, one more and we're in. Okay, wipe my hands off. Now we're going to season it a bit. Salt's a good one. I like to use kosher salt. Some of you may like to use sea salt. And this is tomato sofrito sauce, which is one of the main sauces in the Spanish kitchen. It's comprised of fresh organic tomatoes and some of these peppers, some onion and garlic. I put a little bit of parsley in it, and let's spread it. So we're going to spoon some of this in. And I'm still kind of keeping them separate, but not for long. Okay, this all can go in. It normally calls for red wine, but I drank all mine, so not an option today. Nice color, it's getting ready. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and just mix the meat in with the vegetables. You can smell the garlic. Let me grab the black pepper. I'll crack some pepper into it. All right. Boy, these ribs are sure smelling good. A lot of nice juices in there. Cooking with cast iron offers lots of benefits, especially putting iron into your food, which in turn puts it into your system. Seal that up nicely. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and make some cornbread too. I've got a great gluten-free recipe for cornbread that comes out wonderful every single time, and it'll go great with these ribs. So.
The castings move along a vibratory conveyor to shake off the molding sand, which we recycle. Then the cookware enters a rotating drum filled with iron media. The iron media is specifically engineered to break up the sand and scrub it from the casting surface. The media is continuously recycled. Our skillets glide across the iron media catcher as they go down the line to the sorting station. This employee is sorting the cookware from the gating. Gating is the hardened channel of iron that forms in the sand mold during the casting process. Once everything is sorted, the cookware moves on to the finishing area. This employee prepares the skillets for the shot blasting machine, which cleans them with fine steel shot. Inside the machine, the cookware is blasted from all sides. This is what the steel shot looks like. These men work in complete harmony to keep the line moving and America cooking. The grinder will remove any sharp edges left from the gating to ensure that every large skillet lives up to our quality standards. The skillet will then fall into a bath of stainless steel media, soap, and water to enhance the finish. The stainless steel media is designed to come in complete contact with every inch of the skillets for a deep clean. Once the cast iron is completely clean, it is hung on a conveyor to be seasoned. First, they go through a hot rinse, and then a hot air blow-off. This removes the remaining water and soap, so that their surface is receptive to the seasoning. Our cookware is sprayed with vegetable oil and conveyed to the second-story oven. It is baked at a high temperature, well above the range of a typical household oven. This creates a natural, easy-release finish that gets better with use. After exiting the oven, the skillets glide through a cooling room to bring them down to a temperature that's safe to handle. All of these skillets have made it through the ringer, and they're almost ready for your recipes. Employees give them a final quality inspection before packing. Now all we have to do is get them to you. What started out as raw materials is now an heirloom, ready for you to enjoy for generations to come.
So nice fresh tomatoes out of our garden. Jalapenos. It's going to give it some spice and heat. We're doing some short ribs today, and they're braising nice and slowly, and they're really good. I'm going to do more of a rustic style. I'm not finely dicing the tomatoes. They're just going to be like a rough cut, and it's all going to go in with the braise. They've been braising for a while now. Let's get this out of here. And just cut them like that. That's it. We'll put the tomatoes in there. Jalapenos. The garlic's already in there with the onions. And let's go ahead and put some nice bell pepper in here. One of those, and a little bit of yellow pepper as well. Son of a gun. You're amazing. You could smell the short ribs cooking, and I knew you were going to show up. So what did I do? I poured you a glass of wine.
Oh, look at you.
I knew you were going to be here.
Yeah, well, you know, you have two of my favorite things. You've got short ribs and cornbread. So, got to go with it.
Let's go with
Cheers.
it. It's too funny that you showed up. Amazing. So it's just all rough cut stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I even put the garlic cloves in there whole. Just kind of smashed them a bit. So how's that looking? Is it ready to add some vegetables to it?
Let me check. I know that I need a pad to. Oh, there we go.
There's some tomatoes.
Oh man, this looks amazing. That is rendered down beautifully.
All right.
So we're gonna just stick all the
the vegetables. Put it all in there in that Dutch oven. I'll tell you, Lodge makes the best Dutch ovens. They're so effective. And we're just going to go ahead and put the onion in like that. Toss it in.
Beautiful.
Done. All this stuff goes into. Look at our compost is building up.
That's gonna make some amazing fertilizer.
Yeah. Oh, it does. It does. It does. That's how we roll around here. So we're going to do the braised short ribs. Tell us about the cornbread.
You know, cornbread. I mean, I'm addicted to cornbread first and foremost because, to me, it is one of those comfort foods that you have to love. And when you're making cornbread, you can't just do it in any old pan. You need to do it in cast iron to really get the flavor to come out right. And you've got some wonderful cast iron here. Now these are the corn cob molds from Lodge Cast Iron, and they pop out of there just super easy. And you can do them either in the oven or out on the campfire. They work really well and they're really versatile. And I know that when these are single serving, but you can also make it in a actual pan. And I think we've got one here.
Oh yeah.
To make a large cornbread, and when you make a large cornbread, Well, it's just you and I, but I think we can go through this entire cornbread by ourselves.
Well, could you imagine making the cornbread, which we will make in here, and those, and then ladling that braised ribs over the top of it?
You know what? I think we don't have to manage it much longer. I think we're going to make it, and we're going to do a great job
You
with
talk
it.
about comfort food.
Absolutely.
It's all over the place. But you're right. It would be great at, a cold night out at a campsite. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And those ribs have been braising for quite a while, so it's starting to smell pretty good in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to make some cornbread, but it's going to have a little twist to it. Gluten-free.
What?
Yeah, seriously. And it's really good. It's a really good recipe that a friend of my mother-in-law's gave me, and she's definitely gluten-free, so she said, try this recipe, so this is it. So we're going to start mixing the dry ingredients first. So if it's shiny, it's sugar.
Okay, good to know.
All right, and then we're going to go ahead and put in, so this is the cornmeal. It's an organic product. What we're going to do is mix the dry ingredients first, and then we'll go ahead and mix the wet in. This is baking soda. So this is that gluten-free flour I was talking about, and it's actually a combination of white rice and brown rice flour that does not have any glutens in it, and it really bakes up very well. We're going to add a little bit of salt to it. This is actually supposed to be for
mustard,
mustard,
but hey.
but the hell, it works good for salt. All right. And here's the other one. So let's go ahead. If you want to mix the dry.
Sure.
Thank you.
Now with the gluten-free flour, do you have to sift that as well?
No. No, you don't. So you just kind of, using the whisk, it kind of takes the lumps out if there are any, but it should break up pretty good. This is some nice organic buttermilk that we're going to put in there, and this is one of the eggs from our chickens.
Mm-hmm. Now on the cornmeal that we're using here, like there's different grades of cornmeal, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have a preference or?
For what we're making today, I like a finer grade. I just think it doesn't give it that gritty consistency like polenta usually has sometimes.
Yeah.
That looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this egg. We have about 100 chickens that we run in the vineyard.
Oh, wow.
That go scratch up all the soil and everything, and they're great in the garden and the vineyard. So, this is the bonus. They lay eggs for us. Okay, so let's put this over here. If you want to whisk the egg into the buttermilk. And you'll notice once this cornbread is done, it's going to be so yellow, and it's not so much from the cornmeal, but it's from the homegrown eggs.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Look at that color right there.
When you get farm fresh eggs, I mean, everybody talks about farm fresh eggs in marketing, but when you've had a real farm egg, a fresh egg, it has a different color to it. It has a different flavor to it. And it truly is an amazing thing.
I'm going to go ahead and step around you and melt some of this butter down for it.
Absolutely.
All right. This is going to work great for that. So the trick also, what I've always learned over the years, is butter doesn't spoil when it's sitting out without refrigeration. So I left this out earlier today, and so it got really nice and soft, so it melts so much quicker.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip to have when you're baking anything, is to have your butter at the right temperature. Mm-hmm. There are some butters that call them to be chilled, so that they create steam when they cook and get
right. Especially like if you're making a pie crust or something like that, you want that to be really cold, and you add the ice water to the dough for the crust. But in this case, we're just going to melt it and add it right into that.
Right. So, you should always know what temperature to have your butter at, because each temperature of butter does a different thing.
So what do you think? You think we should go ahead? I think we should put the butter into the dry mix.
Yep.
Because if we put this into the buttermilk, it's going to cook the butter.
Yeah, it's going to
buttermilk.
curl.
Okay, it's almost there. So are you ready for the buttermilk?
Yep. Now, when we're whisking all these things together, you hear some recipes when you're baking about not overworking.
Well, especially when if you're baking and dealing with doughs, if you overwork it, the dough tends to get tough.
Now, with it being gluten-free flour, are we going to have the same issue? Or no.
Nope.
Because I'm really excited. I mean, I don't have a gluten issue, but I have friends that do, and I'm really excited to try this recipe.
Well, when you taste it, I will guarantee you that you would not even dream that it was a gluten-free recipe.
That's what
I almost didn't tell you to the end.
Oh.
No, he's got to know. He heard the dinner bell coming over here, so I got to tell him the whole story.
Yeah, it happens.
All right.
It's always a good meal at the Rose residence.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's looking really
that was
good.
Pretty good.
So these pans, what I found is they need to be oiled pretty well, so they release nicely. And the other trick that I learned also is that you need to put the batter into one of these that are hot.
Okay, good to know.
And then that affects the release of it.
Now with these cast iron pieces, this particular one is in the shape of a corn cob, which I think is, number one, brilliant. It gives it that homey feel. It gives it that sense of country welcomeness, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I also love it because it portions out a good piece of cornbread early and often.
So we should go ahead and, so this is actually, I have another one actually. Let me pull it out of the oven that's hot.
Okay.
Let's just set this right on there for the moment. Okay, so that's hot. Be careful. Go ahead and ladle it in.
Let me know how slow you want me to go.
Your call. I just keep thinking about how good those braised ribs are going to be over this. That's a good amount, yeah. Because it will rise a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. Everyone tends to overfill their molds, but you really shouldn't.
And we'll have enough batter to do the one in the skillet as well.
Yes, we will. Because like I said, this is going to be delicious.
Those are beautifully browned. And hot.
All right, this looks and smells amazing.
Oh, that smells amazing.
I mean,
amazing.
check that out. Check out all those flavors.
And look at all the colors. Oh, man.
This is going to be ridiculously good. All right, so let's dish this up.
Those peppers look good.
Short ribs look amazing. They're going to be so nice and tender.
That's what braising does. Let's put this one over here and we'll bring this one over. Oh, yeah. And short ribs used to be an inexpensive cut of meat. No longer, though. A lot of people.
No, unfortunately, the secret's out. And a lot of what we used to call junk meat have become prime time replacements for the filet mignons and ribeyes of the world.
Exactly.
And so we've got our wonderful pieces of cornbread, and
you can
as
just turn
promised,
there you go. Just
boom, just
nice
popped
release.
right out. Look at those. They're perfect to just put in. Just on the side.
Ah!
See, you're too fancy. I just use my hands. This is mine. Steve, thank you for having me, because I was going to starve.
You were amazing. You smelt this stuff cooking. You were in the neighborhood, and you just walked right in, and you knew that's what we were making, so we're going to enjoy it together. Thank you, my friend.
All right, thank you, sir.
We'll catch you next time on the Organic Rose.
I really need a fork for this, but man, the flavors are amazing.